What's going on, everyone? Jeremy coming to you very early in the morning. I just happened to be awake. I'm having some windows replaced at the house, and wouldn't you know it, I wanted to make my first video of the day about Jimmy Kimmel's fake apology, crocodile tears, and refusal to say the words "I'm sorry" in his lame monologue last night that was viewed by basically nobody. But we have yet another left-wing attack. This time we had a sniper opening up on yet another ICE facility, and of course taking the coward's way out at the end, so we can pretty much assume we know exactly who did this. The same people that have been doing this for the last 6 months, except unfortunately for them, they injured 0 ICE agents, except now they'll have to grapple with the fact that they've taken the lives of several bold future president illegal immigrants. Now, I don't want these people, I don't want to make light of their tragedy. I just wanted them deported. I didn't want them to lose their lives. But these leftoids, I cannot stop, will not stop. And I'm getting a little impatient to have our federal government do a little bit more about this. I know we did Antifa is a terror organization now. That's all fine and dandy for the headlines. Executive orders are great for headlines. They don't actually do much. But it's time to, it's not even a week. Or it's just, we had just in the last 10 days, Charlie Kirk. We had 2 Democrats try to blow up a Fox News van. We had a Free Palestine guy at a wedding take out a father. We had now this guy, Secretary Kristi Noem wrote 14 minutes ago, there is a shooting at this morning at the Dallas ICE Detention Center. Details are still emerging, but we can confirm there were multiple injuries and fatalities. The shooter themselves is deceased by taking the coward's way out. Well, we don't know motive yet. We do know that our ICE law enforcement is facing unprecedented attacks against them. It must stop. Please pray for the victims and their families. Again, this is, if we go back to August 17th, there was another attack. Suspects in Texas ICE shooting tied to trans anti-fascist activism. Benjamin Song, an alleged ringleader, is a former Marine Corps reservist who trained left-wing activists for close-quarter combat and large-scale weapons fights, associates said. Again, we don't know for an absolute fact. I suspect we will know more by the end of the day, or probably by the time lunchtime rolls around. But I think it's pretty safe to say that we have yet another left-wing attack. Right-wingers aren't attacking ICE facilities. That'd be like if something happened at, I don't know, a soy convention, and then saying a leftist did it. That probably wouldn't happen. Or a cuckoldry class. This would not be a place that left-wingers would attack because that is a friendly zone to them. This is, again, I don't want to make light of it because it's so sad. But, we need to do something with this. Yeah, I get it. We get, oh, okay, well, we designated him a terror group. Okay, well, get in there and start busting heads. Again, here's the Fox News report.
Griff, we just heard from Todd Lyons. He said, "Hi, we had shots fired into the Dallas ICE office."
This was a sniper on a roof, just like Charlie Kirk.
So into the ICE office, specifically into the Sally Port, as you were saying, Griff, area where detainees are brought in.
Now, I wondered, is there maybe there was a 1% chance that this was a cartel hit where they're like, oh, they got Jose and he's got all this information on us. What do we do? Well, that is a terrible accent, and I apologize to my Latino followers for that attempt. That said, but then generally if it's cartel, first of all, they're probably not going to miss. Second of all, they're not going to be spraying and praying. And third of all, they're not going to self-terminate.
3 people have been shot and en route to the hospital. Reports are the shooter is down from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Reports are all ICE employees are accounted for, still searching and securing the scene.
Yeah, and Ainsley, Secretary Kristi Noem, DHS Secretary, is now responding on social media as well, saying that there was a shooting this morning at the Dallas ICE detention facility. Details are still emerging, but we can confirm there were multiple injuries. And
we look at this. Now we know, we already know the race. Interesting. White sniper fires on at least 3 migrants at Dallas ICE facility and takes one before taking himself out. Now, you could say, this is a mega right-winger, right, Jimmy Kimmel? A mega right-winger who decided he just doesn't like immigrants. Why would you target an ICE facility? They're already getting removed there. It makes zero sense. It's almost like this is a psyop to try and obfuscate what happened to Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk warned about this, the rise of assassination culture on the left wing. And here in America, in just the last 10 days, like I said, we've had 4 separate attacks where people have lost their lives. That doesn't include all of the open attacks on facilities, aggressive protests. Now, you're fine to protest, but, breaking in windows and all this kind of stuff, that's not a First Amendment issue. The situation unfolded at 7 a.m. Wednesday morning. Victims were detainees in ICE custody. Shortly after, multiple people were wounded. The loser, described as a white man, was found on the roof of a nearby immigration attorney's office. ICE Director Todd Lyons confirmed that the individual was down and they reportedly took their own life. Now, again, unlike the disingenuous losers of the mainstream media, I'm going to leave some possibility that this was, let's say, some guy whose wife or daughter or son or whatever, something bad happened to them by an illegal or something like that. It's possible, maybe, but we'll have to wait and see. But again, the body of evidence shows that this is going to be tied to Antifa. Images show large police presence. Yes. We know about that. The ICE facility has been frequently targeted by pro-immigration demonstrators in the recent months. Last month alone, a man identified as Bratton Dean Wilkinson, 36, was arrested after making a threat against the processing center. A nearby ICE facility in Alvarado, Texas, another attack took place on the 4th of July, where 10 people were arrested for firing on law enforcement officers. Armed assailants with tactical gear were charged with Terry and aggravated attacks, which officials say at the time was intended to disrupt the ICE facility's operations. These are the same people that are whining and complaining about, we want less, we want more control on people's weapons, but now they're using them. People say, is this the new normal? Yes, this is the new normal. This is intended to discourage people from wanting to become ICE agents, which I would understand if people are like, hey, I don't want to lose my life for 50 grand a year or 70 grand a year, whatever they pay. That's part of this. They say, well, if you work for ICE, you're not safe. That's the obvious message here. Again, I'm leaving a small window of possibility. This is somebody who was wronged in some way, maybe fired by ICE, or they had a family member, lose their life. But again, the body of evidence says this is going to be yet another. I mean, look at all the women that were, related to the Alvarado. Look how big this ring was that happened. There was like 20 people arrested, I think.
6 women charged for their roles in the shooting of an Alvarado police officer faced a federal judge today.
It's a crazy story. The officer was responding to a vandalism call at an ICE detention center. Fox 4's Lori Brown is live in Fort Worth with a very large and expanding story. Lori.
By the way, did you see their mugshots? They were all leftoids.
Ambush-style shooting of an Alvarado police officer, but their supporters argue that they were just there to attend what they thought would be a peaceful protest.
Oh, I bet they did think that.
Supporters of the defendants did not want to make any statements.
Look at them all.
After the
they're all
women were
ICE
arraigned
dorks,
on
or they're all
charges connected to the
ANIFA
shooting
dorks.
of an Alvarado
Overweight
police
white
officer.
women.
The officer survived. The court-appointed attorneys also said they did not want to make any statements yet about what happened the night of July 4th. The defendant's supporters said it was a protest outside an ICE detention center, but federal prosecutors describe it as a planned ambush on federal and local law enforcement officers.
It was.
In all, at least 16 people have been charged, according to the federal complaint.
Look at these pictures. Every one of them a leftoid. Now, again, is it possible? You know, I'd say, hey, like, let's investigate. Maybe there were some people there that were just there and, you know, didn't know anything was going to happen. I mean, I don't think just being there, you know, it's possible some people planned it and then just wanted to use these people as cover. All of that's possible. But I mean, this is 20 different people involved. All of them, you know, all of this was tied back to leftoid groups. This was just a few months ago. At least 16 people were charged in the case, according to a federal complaint. Several of the defendants were dressed in black military-style clothing. The complaint states that protesters began lighting off fireworks at the detention center. 2 people broke off from the main group and began to spray graffiti on vehicles and a guard structure. Officials believe it was all a ploy to draw ICE detention officers out of the building instead of correctional officers. Instead, they called 911 to report the vandalism. And when Alvarado police officer arrived, a defendant positioned in the woods actually hit him in the neck and he survived. Another assailant across the street fired 20 to 30 rounds at unarmed corrections officers. So you had at least 2 individuals involved in that. Very, very coordinated. One attacker had cell phone inside of his bag that blocked cell phone signals. I mean, this is a very sophisticated attack. We are dealing with a paramilitary level of training, equipment, and funding here in America, and it's being set upon law-abiding citizens who just want law and order. Make sure you lock it in here. Subscribe to the channel. I'll keep you updated as we know more about the individual that did this. I suspect we'll know more pretty quickly because that's how DHS seems to be working. And we'll talk to you again real soon.